I will give our latest assessment today of the spread of Omicron, and in light of that, I will confirm no immediate changes to the protections currently in force or to the advice that we are giving the public. First, though, today's statistics. 15,849 positive cases were reported yesterday, 28.9% of all tests carried out. Now, it's worth noting that the much higher test positivity experienced over recent days may be partially explained by people being more selective about when to go for a test over the Christmas period. However, this is by some margin the highest overall daily case number reported in the pandemic to date. 679 people are currently in hospital with COVID, which is 80 more than yesterday, and 36 people are in intensive care, one fewer than yesterday. Presiding Officer, it's clear from these figures that the wave of Omicron that has been predicted is now rapidly developing. Omicron now accounts for around 80% of all cases, and over the past week, the number of reported cases of COVID overall has increased by 47%. We should also bear in mind that any transmission over recent days will not yet be fully evident in the reported figures. So it is reasonable to assume that we will continue to see steep increases in cases in the days and indeed possibly in the weeks ahead. That said, it is also important to remember that our individual and collective behaviour will influence how fast or otherwise the virus spreads. The current surge would almost certainly be even higher, but for so many people following advice to cut down on social interactions in the run-up to Christmas. And given the speed and extent of the transmission we are experiencing now, it is really vital that we all continue to take sensible precautions and limit social interactions for a further period as we learn more about the likely impact of this wave of infection and as we complete the booster vaccination programme. It is essential that we do act to slow transmission at this stage as much as possible. Indeed, that is why additional protections were announced last week and are now in force, and I'll summarise these shortly. And it's also why over Hogmanay and New Year's Day, and for at least the first week of January, we are advising everyone to stay at home more than normal, to reduce contacts with people outside our own households, and to limit the size of any indoor social gatherings that do take place so that they don't include people from any more than 3 households. Also try to ventilate indoor spaces as much as possible. And it remains our advice, our strong advice, that lateral flow tests should be taken just before meeting up with anyone from another household. And if that shows a positive result, it is vital to immediately isolate and book a PCR test.